computer. Boom. And we're back to the 25th show of the Geekdom Gamescast.
Or is it 25 and a half now?
25.5. It is the Miles Morales Spider-Man of the Geekdom Gamescast. It is it's part
humorously,
2 the Final Fantasy VII Remake. What were you going to say?
No, it said humorously, we had all that break and I have to plug my computer in. Thankfully, the plug is right there. I just got to leave the camera. But go ahead, introduce everything right now.
Well, we have a lot to talk about for the Ubisoft Forward. And by a lot, I mean a lot of stuff that we were kind of just like, on some updates for things, a couple fan service things. There's a lot of notes, but it's something we could just kind of Ubisoft fast forward to. Props to Moody for that joke. I'm gonna let Genius get its due. But we had this on Friday, as of the time we're recording this, 9/11. They still did it, but we had a little bit of a forward. This is like the third, fourth one this year. Like they just keep doing these things, and it's diminishing returns. Would you say overall, Moody? Well, what's your thoughts on it? Just before we get into it, real quick.
All right. So as I was watching it, and immediately after, I was like, "This was a very good, presentation." And then the more time went on, there was so many negative responses. It's hard to not fall into that trap. I mean, we can go over the games really quickly, but as far as just kind of giving an over, I think the problem is with this is, as you can see, as the people can see at home, the games in the background, none of those games were talked about. So the problem with these Ubisoft Forward things is they have a lot of great IPs that a lot of people want to know about, and they only do a few at a time. So when we don't hear about Splinter Cell and we don't hear about Beyond Good and Evil, people get upset. And this one, people are like, wait, isn't Assassin's Creed coming out in November? How come they're not talking about this right now? And then people loved so much of what they saw from Far Cry 6, which wasn't much, that they wanted more, and we didn't get it. So, but what they did do was cool. There were surprises.
There were surprises. Hey, two new IP. One of them was announced already as Gods and Monsters, but we saw nothing of it. And now it's changed to Immortals Phoenix Rising. This is kind of what kicked off the show.
The worst name ever. It's like the Henry Cavill sequel to that other movie, that other forgotten movie he did.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's the unnecessary colon. Phoenix is spelled weird, so we're gonna always mess it up. It doesn't roll off the tongues like Gods and Monsters, but this is they said this is what they were like, what they felt reflected what the gameplay actually is, and which we actually got to see this time. So after like a little sizzle reel of cinematics, and them talking about the release date of December 3rd, we got it to go into the game, and the game kind of looks like actually pretty interesting to me personally. It's a little bit of an open world game, kind of Breath of the Wild-ish, but with a lot of chaotic melee upgrade RPG elements that we're kind of used to from Ubisoft. I think it looks way different from every other Ubisoft IP, which is really interesting.
Absolutely.
It might be a little cartoony for some people, but that's like the demographic they're going for, I'm sure, is going to be a lot more general of an audience than the blood and guts that we get from Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, right? Moody, what do you think about this game?
It's a little more PG friendly. I would say on this is the game is either just going to come and go and be a forgetful title. People are already being like, if I do get it, I'm waiting for Black Friday, like pretty much everybody. So, I mean, it is Ubisoft. That's kind of what they're known for, is dropping prices really quickly.
Yeah. Black Friday 2021, which is crazy.
Right. Unbelievable. Whatever that's going to be like. And then, or it could just surprise the hell out of everybody. But I think that's going to have to come with what we didn't see. And that's going to be narratively, engaging characters, engaging storylines, plot twists, like just crazy stuff. And I don't see that happening in a game like this. It's not a Japanese game, so it's going to be probably meat and potatoes. You're probably going to, you know what you're going to get with it, and it might be a game that's fine. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's, because it's definitely a game I would love to spend many hours with. You know what I mean? So it, you know, with the Breath of the Wild and mixing that with a little bit of Odyssey flavor.
Yeah.
It's intriguing, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on anyone's to buy list anytime soon. Even from the gameplay we saw, it's just kind of, it's like cool. I guess we have to play it. You know what I mean? I know I say this on every podcast. I'm like, if we actually had a Gamescom or an E3 or whatever, New York Comic Con, right? New York Comic Con would be a great place to play this because they usually do a little Ubisoft booth. We could try it out and see if we like it. We can't try it out, so I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's a new IP. They did go deep into it. They rolled it all on the. They didn't just give it to teaser. They gave us what we wanted. You know, as far as information. I just don't know. I think it's a tough sell right now.
Yeah, I agree. I want to feel what that combat feels like, and it's kind of like what we are talking about in our Ghost of Tsushima episode. That if it's more than meat and potatoes, and there's like a little bit more special stuff to it, like the animation and the design, it's not as photorealistic as the other Ubisoft games. So maybe if they took the resources away from that to actual game design, and there's supposed to be like puzzles and stuff in the game. So if that stuff is actually fun, then maybe it could surprise us. But
like Darksiders,
yeah, exactly. But it's something you got to take with a grain of salt because Ubisoft is so meat and potatoes, and this is just another one of the games. Hopefully, they're trying to break out of that, but we'll see. December 3rd. That's crazy. That's this year. Not a lot of games we're talking about are coming out.
That's kind of like the Hitman release date. Always going to be like the last game to come out before Christmas. So
never going to get the game of the year nods if it's that worthy because it's so close to people recording the game of the year.
I mean, I think that's what they're hoping for. They know there's going to be a percentage of people that if fits in their wheelhouse, they'll pre-order, and most people are going to wait. They got to know this. They got to be smart enough to know that this is a game that people are looking to pay $40. It's already $50 on Amazon, by the way. And so is Watch Dogs Legion. It's already, those games are already on sale, and I think that had to do with Cyberpunk and the new consoles and everything. They're just they want to get these games in the hands of people, and hopefully they'll buy DLC and stuff, that whole thing. But yeah, this game's already $50. So it's already 15% off. So yeah, you could
on top of the coupon you get for Black Friday or something, maybe $40, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I think this is a game people see for 35, 40. Yeah, they could be interested if the reviews are solid. So yeah, we'll see. But it was a good way to kick off the show. You know, it wasn't like, oh, here's something that we showed you, you know, again. So props to Ubisoft for that.
Something new. And we go from something new to something old. We turn back the sands of time because we're getting a Prince of Persia remake. One of the most classic games. Have you ever played this, Moody?
No, so I was super excited. No, I was super excited for a different reason, like because everyone talks about this, like all those years of subscribing to Game Informer and reading how this is like one of the all-time best games of its kind and stuff like that, and people always mention it. It's such a like cult classic. So finally I'll be able to get my hands on it. And of course, it's another one of those things. I'm excited. I share it. Everyone's like, it looks like shit.
Oh, really? I did not see that.
No. I mean, people think the visuals don't look next gen. They just they look dated. You know what I mean? So
they look a lot better than the original Prince of Persia. So if you were ever curious, there's that. I kind of dig that they're doing it with an Indian studio, so they got that cultural flavor enhancement.
Yeah, that was cool.
And also, they're bringing back the original performer, which is I had played this game a while ago, but it'll be nice to get that hit of nostalgia, you know. And they mentioned that it's the first ever remake from Ubisoft, so that's crazy to me. I didn't realize that was the thing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Yuri Lowenthal was the original actor for Prince, right?
Yeah. He has kind of a French accent that I was gonna do, but then backed off because I don't think I can. So, but he still looks young for how old that game is, which is amazing. And they actually mocapped everyone this time. I don't think we even had that technology back in the day. So, I mean, visuals aside, yeah, that is true that it does not look next gen compared to like what they got going on with even Far Cry and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But it is a great game. mechanically. I wonder how it holds up, considering that it probably influenced a lot of games after. But it's happening.
It was a great surprise, regardless of whether the visuals are like, whether it looks amazing or whatever. It's going to be a game that probably goes beyond just visuals. I mean, some people are like, I still play that game or whatever. You know what I mean? So why, if it's not a $60 game and it doesn't cost $60 graphics, then it should be a fun, if they kind of did what, and we're going to talk about Super Mario 3D World, right?
Yeah.
So people were complaining about that, but this did the opposite. They are remastering parts of it. I think that's the problem, is like remake, remaster. You know what I mean? Like, well, what is it? They calling it a remake.
Yeah, this one's a remake from the ground up. So, and then the Mario games are a remaster, but I guess it's just not. I mean, maybe the fact that the visuals aren't great means it's going to be $40 for the remake. So, which,
well, we don't. But those are also, we don't know. We don't have it in our hands. It comes out January 21st. So maybe after the reactions, maybe they'll suit it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That is true too. That one they claimed is only coming to PS4, Xbox One X, and just this current gen of consoles. So that was interesting also.
Hopefully it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, hopefully it is on Game Pass. I would definitely play it if it's on Game Pass. It's
100%. I'm still going to play it.
You do it. Yeah.
I'm still going to play it anyway, just because I never did, and it's one of the games that people talk very highly about. So yeah, I was super happy with this announcement.
Sweet. We got some Hyperscape updates, and I don't know about you, but I don't care. Everything's gonna move faster. There's like a sizzle reel of how it's doing. They showed a bunch of streamers, blah blah blah. Cool.
Yeah, this is like the battle royale game that.
That's the battle royale game. We barely had anything to talk about the last time we talked about Hyperscape, which was like 2 episodes ago. So nothing's changed with our.
Moving on.
Fast forward to Rainbow Six Siege. We got some updates there. There's going to be a World Cup, 20 main teams, 45 countries. The thing that I wanted to talk about is fucking Tony Parker.
I know. So
I've been hearing about Rick Fox being like a PC gaming fan. That's been in the news and stuff. But randomly out of nowhere, Tony Parker, he's a French guy. Ubisoft is a French company. He's the ambassador for Rainbow Six Siege.
Hey, whatever makes you money these days, and that post-retirement life. It does make sense. I mean, they're both French and everything.
Yeah.
So, his agent was like, "Get on that. This is you. This is all you." Hey, maybe he likes video games, man.
Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does. I hadn't heard that before, man. But maybe he does. I had heard about the Rick Fox thing for a while, and then like all the new players, obviously, they love the young.
You killed my segue, Mike, because you could have put this last before NBA 2K.
Oh, right.
Who made these notes this week? Who did this? This is why I do the notes, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. No, the notes are great. But yeah, anyway, there's another surprise, right?
There is another surprise. Codename Zero. It is Sam Fisher is coming to the game.
He's in every game but his own.
Yeah, but his own, dude. Seriously. So there's like some handmade animated short with him. He's gonna have his own little thing in the next season, which is cool for Splinter Cell fans, I guess. Cool if you needed something, and you're probably not going to get a Splinter Cell update anytime soon. I'm sorry. Yeah, but the thing that is getting an update is Six Siege is, it speaks to the longevity of the game, but it's coming to the next gen. So 4K, 120 FPS. And it's a free upgrade. And they've been really good at, like, amazing. I know at launch, all of us were just like, who cares? But they really have been good to their player base, and they made them stick around. And a lot of people have come to that game in late game and said it's like really good. If it's your thing, it's not quite my thing. But, good for them. That's cool.
Well, it's like, with For Honor and Ghost Recon, they support the hell out of these games, and even when the reviews come out and they're not super wonderful and game of the year list, they really do take the games as a service seriously, and they definitely provide what the people want. And for years later, we're still mentioning these games that we thought were throwaways. It's unbelievable, and the player bases is in the millions and stuff, and it's still bringing in some good revenue for Ubisoft without any cheap tactics either. So props to them, as a company for doing something like this. I know it's not, we're more in the AAA single player, kind of threshold over here at the Gamescast,
Right.
but we do have to acknowledge, when a company does something right, we will give it props.
Yeah. Another right thing they did by me, specifically personally, is Scott Pilgrim's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
This is famous because they took it off the store for a while, and it's, Scott Pilgrim's pretty niche, but a lot of people have always, like, every AMA I've seen with Brian Lee O'Malley, people are like, where's the Scott Pilgrim game? And he, on Twitter, literally was the one to break the news and be like, now you can stop fucking asking me. It's coming back, 10-year anniversary, makes me feel old. I remember seeing that thing in theaters. You're getting the complete edition with Knives and Wallace. Good time to be a Scott Pilgrim fan, if you are. I personally really liked the game. It's a good
I am
beat 'em
too.
up. Yeah, hell yeah.
So I own all the comics, and I've read them all,
Nice.
and I loved them, and I love the movie, but I've never played the game. And I'm hearing it has River City Ransom vibes to it.
Hell yeah.
The one thing that scares me is that Artez said that it's really hard, and he's a much better gamer than me. So is there an easy moody mode in this, or am I going to fail endlessly?
I don't remember if there is, but I remember it being hard too. But I do know that there's RPG stuff where you can buy better stats and stuff, so maybe you could grind it out if you really want. But the whole story of the game is just like the story of the comics and the movies. It's all the evil X's. It's just cool that they, because in the movie, in the comics, they reference video games so much, and it's cool to see it in video game form with the comic animation, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean, maybe we do this whenever we get the Jivo back, and then we have a bunch of good guys that could carry us, because it is 4 players. So
okay, so it is one of those great like halftime show games that we have, those retro type games. So yeah, that'll be dope.
Yep. So that's cool. That's a cool surprise.
On the Gamescast, when I posted the trailer, people went crazy over this, and I love the Scott Pilgrim. I love the fan base. It's so diverse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you get all kind of people from all walks of life, like people I didn't even know were members of the Gamescast group, like hot chicks and shit. I'm like, they're like, I love this Scott Pilgrim. I'm like, whoa, cool. I'm coming to your house with a mask.
Yeah, dude. I even watched like a little bit of like the table read they did for COVID for charity, and even just hearing the same actor just recite the lines from the movie was just like, oh man, this is so fucking good. Even without all the effects and stuff, it's just really good. I think it just speaks to a lot of nerds and a lot of music, and which is cool, music and video games and comics and all that stuff. It's really great.
Yeah. Can't wait.
One of the games that we do have on your screen right over here is they did mention Watch Dogs got like another trailer that was kind of the same thing, but a little bit of different. It's the same kind of pitch that they're giving us, but they gave us a little bit of new footage, and we got an announcement, a huge announcement in the hip hop community. I actually don't know if this guy's big or not, but I have no idea. Stormzy's on the soundtrack.
So, well, I think he might be big in
the
UK or something. It has to be. Why does Ubisoft have to be so extra? Like, when you go to the booth at E3, what takes over the entire E3?
Just Dance.
Yes.
Literally dancers at E3.
Yes. And then now we have a music video in this press release event. So it's just Ubisoft doing extra stuff. It's always going to be the thing that pisses hardcore gamers off. Yep. I don't know how many people are going to buy Watch Dogs Legion because of Stormzy, but maybe a lot. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I could be way off. They know the metrics better than I do, so who am I to judge?
Stormzy, it was a waste of time. If you're out there, join the Gamescast group. We'll gladly come out. We dig hip hop. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we used to.
Yeah, we used to do like a hip hop podcast and stuff. But this was a little much.
This was a little much. But we
Yeah.
did, I mean, speaking of the whole Sam Fisher thing, we did get a surprise guest announcement.
Yeah.
Aiden Pierce is returning from Watch
That was
Dogs
cool.
1. That is
Yeah.
cool. And he's also getting, he's going to be fully playable post-launch and also get his own chapter in a standalone DLC.
Well, why wouldn't
really
he be
cool.
fully playable? Because every single character
I know, right?
and NPC in the game is supposed to be fully playable. He better damn near be playable. Imagine if he wasn't. I mean, it's
I know,
the
seriously.
one. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, good. Another solid announcement. I don't know how I feel about this game. I think
Yeah.
October 29th. Okay, so it's coming out 10
Really
days
soon.
before the console wars.
Right.
It's just about 10 days to 2 weeks before the. It's just what a strange year this is. I don't even know what else to say.
No, yeah, you don't need to say more than that. It has been a strange year for everyone.
I just don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it playing it at E3 last year. Now we're a year later. They showed it at the last Ubisoft Forward, and I just don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know how I feel about. I don't know how I've ever felt about Watch Dogs. To be honest, it was supposed to be like this
amazing
thing, and then when you do play it, it's very cool. Like we're about to go crazy about Cyberpunk, and a lot of that stuff is coming from Watch Dogs, right? Are we gonna?
True.
No one's saying that, but all the hacking and all that, like we've done that already in Watch Dogs, and then Watch Dogs 2 came out, kind of just came and went, but it looked really cool, the game, but it's just, it comes out in the holiday. It comes out against those big holiday releases, all the sport games, all the shooting games, all the AAA, game of the year type games. And it never can break the cycle. It can never, I don't know. It just, and then even when it dropped to like $10, and people like, it's really good, I liked it, I just couldn't get myself to play another Watch Dogs game. And then now this game got like an amazing response from E3 last year. It was on many journalists' game of the show and stuff, best of show. But I didn't know how I felt about it. I didn't hate it. I just was like, I don't know. There's 5 other things I'd rather play. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's just by nature of Watch Dogs kind of being meat and potatoes of Ubisoft, but not being classic enough like Assassin's Creed or even Far Cry, where like there's like nostalgia to the brand and loyalty to the brand. And it's also like a semi GTA clone, so it's like people still play GTA 5 when they want to get those kicks. And with Cyberpunk, yeah, they're not the first to do it, but they got the pedigree of it being like, oh, it's gonna be like Witcher and hacking, and that sounds a lot more appealing, I think, to all of us.
And they have Keanu Reeves.
And they have Keanu Reeves, and and Watch Dogs only has Stormzy. So, but now they have Aiden Pierce, so that's cool, right?
All right, yeah. Again, it was a good announcement, not like a mind-blowing thing, but if you're a fan of this game and what they're doing so far, you got to be pretty happy.
Yeah. And that's that's coming out October 29th. I'm still skeptical about this whole NPC recruiting thing. It sounds too good to be true. There has to be some like peek behind the curtain we're gonna run into after grinding this game. I don't know. We'll see.
Speaking of grinding.
Oh shit, that's a great segue. We got the classic one more thing, and this one more thing is a new IP. Everyone thought it was going to be, cool borders or some shit, but it's called Riders Republic. So this is going to be like a huge MMO, extreme sports smorgasbord, really. Riders Republic, right? It's a multi-terrain, multiple sports. You had your biking, you had your everything. Name an extreme sport. It's in it. It's all in it. And they're all together, and they went into how like they're doing this whole like 1-to-1 national park recreation, which is really sounds pretty cool. Like they're like, yeah, we want to be able for you to go on GPS and look at a rock formation, and you could actually go to it in game, which is like that sounds pretty badass. And the whole thing is going to be that you just travel around and you see random people doing different random sports, and then you could party up with them and stuff. Maybe kind of like Horizon, I guess. Forza Horizon, I'm saying. Maybe. Sounds pretty cool. If you're into like extreme sports stuff and all that jazz, Moody, are you a big extreme sports?
Well, I said
video game guy?
This is going to be the 2021 Game of the Year for Lance Paul because he's living that life right now in the pandemic.
True, yeah.
No, he's just climbing mountains. But yeah, but it's one of those games. I don't watch a whole lot of esports stuff, but I might be with this. I might like because I think extreme games are cool. It's not like a huge passion of mine, but I went to one and I've watched a few when they was on like ESPN all the time, and it's always cool. It's crash and burn stuff. It's America, you know what I mean? We like this kind of stuff. We'll eat a hot dog and Doritos and Mountain Dew, watch people do dumb shit and get paid for it, and that's what this is. And it's MMO and these huge extravagant settings, and man, it was really cool. It's just strange. I don't know. I want to see more. Yeah, I do. It's not something. I know it's not something I'm gonna even play. All right, let's just be honest. I'm probably never gonna play this unless it is on a Game Pass, or if it's a demo, I definitely want to check it out. But
that's actually a good point. This would be a great Game Pass game because like even Steep I checked out because it was on PlayStation Network for the PS Plus members or whatever. So, yeah. If it was on Game Pass, I might download it and like play the couple extreme sports stuff that I do kind of like.
And the timing is good because everyone's on that high with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, that's
so I think with people, I know this isn't like a retro game; it's something new and everything, but it is extreme sports, and there's paragliding and motorbiking and all the mountain biking and all this crazy wacky stuff. So people, when they're kind of 100 hours into 50 hours of Tony Hawk, they might be looking for something else in February. I think it almost seems calculated, like, oh, by now 5 months later people are going to be tired of Tony Hawk and here's their fix right here. So I think it's great timing. It's a cool announcement. This isn't Splinter Cell, Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's not what the hardcore gamers like, but I like what they're doing here. It's diversity for the brand, and it was this was overall a very good press conference. Like if we were on a Bible score, I would say it was a nice 3.5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's
very
probably
respectable.
Where I would put it. Yeah, it's like it didn't. I mean, it didn't try to be more important than it is. It didn't. I mean, there's some behind the scenes stuff that could have been cut probably, but
absolutely
for the most part, they were pretty snippy about it. Everything was paced well, and then like we got a few new IP surprises and some nostalgia surprises. So it's nothing huge. It's not gonna trigger the Richter scale that much, but it is like very pleasant to enjoy for like the 50 minutes that they did it for. So I agree with you fully on that score actually. So
cool. Yeah, it was better than EA's and Xboxes.
Oh god, EA's man.
They beat those two. But yeah, speaking of sports,
both of our teams have made it to the Western and Eastern Conference Finals, and you got to play apparently what the next season is going to look like. We played NBA 2K21. All right. Did they mention pandemic at all? did they say that? It's so these arenas are back.
So
review of the game. Let's get into
all right.
What your thoughts on 2K21 are?
All right. So I mentioned in my review of NBA 2K21 that's out on GodHatesGeeks.com right now that I took the year off last year. I did play it. I barely touched it. You and Dana reviewed it actually. You both gave it a 4 Bibles. You said it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kind of
still good, but the casino is whack.
That's what it was. And okay, so I said, all right. There's a little bit of a lull as far as gigantic games right now. I'm playing a little UFC. I'm playing a little Tony Hawk. I'm playing a little Avengers. Why not a little 2K? Let's get back into it. My Celtics are in the bubble. They're doing well, as you know, and so are your Lakers. Congratulations. But
thanks. You too.
There's this is not basketball that's going on right now. This NBA 2K21 does not reflect the state of the world that we live in. It doesn't reflect the presentation that I'm watching on TNT. And sure, it takes, as soon as 2K21 comes out, they're already making 2K22. We know how this works.
Right.
So it takes a long time to develop, but isn't that what DLC's for, live updates are for? Why we're paying $60 to $100 for a game for? Isn't that what that's for?
Yep. Yeah, $600 for a game. And then if you want to hey, you want to get your jump shot better, you want more vertical, give us a little bit of cash and we could upgrade your character. And you want these kicks? Do you want these things?
Yeah.
Well, all that money should be going to, like you said, unless you're going to really reinvigorate the engine and make a whole new feel to the game, it should just be updates on the roster. But so what I'm getting is it doesn't feel like a whole next gen upgrade. It doesn't feel like a new engine. It doesn't feel different than usual. Is it still the same 2K? It's
exactly the same 2K. It's
man.
Exactly what little I did play of 2K20. It's the same. It's literally the same thing. And you don't even have the rookies because of the situation we're in. There hasn't even been a draft yet. So none of the, we don't even have rookies in the game. It's the same roster. It's literally the same game. I mean,
yes.
There's Omar from The Wire is your street agent in the story. And then once again, they don't change the character's voice. So my character who looks like this sounds like an African-American gentleman again for 7 years in a row, which, I mean, does it really cost that much to have multiple voice actors? I mean, never mind the fact that I sound like that. You can't even be we know that you can't even be a WNBA player on, what about a young woman in high school and how she's dealing with issues and going through. I mean, UConn's only better than some NBA teams, the women's team in UConn, and you can't even use them in my career. It's just, I use the men's team in UConn, by the way. But yeah, it's just ridiculous that they're just, it's microtransactions. And I guess in my team, they did make it they did hear some of the cries and they fixed a couple things, but I'm not even going to get involved. And then also in my league, they've done absolutely nothing. It's the same thing as Artez's Madden review for this year.
Wow.
If you play what is our franchise mode is called My League, and the customization is all there. And this really sucked. Okay, so I went in the custom league. They give you a choice of having customizing any team you want, any way you want. So I did the all-time team. So I was like, oh, that'd be a fun season, the all-time Celtics and the all-time Bulls. And they gave us a chance to have 6 expansion teams. Now, I don't know. Did they do that last year? Were there 6 expansion teams? Do you remember?
I don't remember the exact number, but
okay.
I think they probably did, yeah.
All right, so anyway, there's 6 expansion teams, and it was cool because I could just download. I didn't have to sit there and create them all, thankfully. I just downloaded ones that were online already, and they were cool. One was the Wakanda Black Panthers, and one was the Akatsuki Naruto team. You know what I mean? It was really cool teams. They made a Montreal team and a Las Vegas team and stuff. So I downloaded all these teams, and my thought was this. If I'm using all the all-time teams, the benches are going to be amazing. I'm going to have Hall of Famers on the bench. Yeah. So I thought when I did the expansion draft that those 6 franchise teams would be able to grab, think about it, who, you'd have a Chris Mullin there because, you know what I mean? Some of the best players are going to be available in an expansion draft. You're going to have some, think about the Lakers. Their whole bench could be, it's just ridiculous, right? So I thought those expansion teams were going to be amazing. So I get there to the expansion draft and they say there's a cap on every team. And I had the number 1 pick and the only guy who was an 80 or whatever was Michael Porter Jr.
What?
Yes. So
and he's going to be the superstar of this new expansion team?
And then after that, you scroll down the list, it's all real life free agents like Dwight Howard and all these backup players or role players, literally all the stars were locked out. And so I was okay, and it says I couldn't change it because I'm an expansion team. So I was all right, this is after I'm customizing everything. So I'm all right, I'm going to go back and pick whoever, the Bulls or the Celtics or whatever, Warriors, whatever, and then I'm going to have the expansion draft. It wouldn't let me switch my team at that point. I would have had to delete all that like 1 hour of customizing to start all over again. And they capped me out. They wouldn't let me do an expansion draft without players being capped. Like there was no way to draft like anyone. You know what I mean? Like
Jesus. What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm going to let these 6 teams get slaughtered by the other 30 teams.
Yeah, seriously.
I was like, no. And I just quit, and I haven't returned to the game since. And, I mean, beyond that, the game is exactly the same. I mean, we say this every year. There's no – it doesn't feel like you're part of something bigger when you're in my league. Like, sure, the presentation has always been good. There's a wonderful commentary that will talk about your team and how it's doing during the game and how it's doing in the season, but they don't make references to other teams like or other games going on that night, like a halftime show or a post-game show that actually acknowledges that beyond like cheesy score overlays. Like, oh, show like Phoenix and Lakers 103-100, but like
right.
Show us like something that make it feel like, you know, that there's a league, that there's something at stake. I want to see like a dunk from another game that won the game. You know, I want it to feel like TNT and Sports Center. I want the commentators to cut in and talk about like something crazy that happened in the league. But no, it's just really the same recycled shit that we've gotten since 2K13.
Yeah, which was like great and groundbreaking years ago. But once you just do the same thing over and over and over and over again, it's like it's time.
That's the thing.
It's supposed to be maybe next year because like it would be 1 year almost into the next generation console. But like especially now that I might pass on this because especially now that the season's still going. Like usually I'm hungry for NBA right now, and I'll be like, okay, 2K, let's do this. We already have the draft, we already have the trades, all blah 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 blah. But the league's still going. We haven't picked a final. Like the championship is ahead of us. The conference championships and the final national championships are ahead of us. So I don't think I have a reason to pick this up.
No, you don't.
Like
no, nobody.
Or 10 bucks
no.
Or...
The only people that should pick up this game is someone who's urging for a basketball game.
Yeah.
That's going to pick up like, say, an Xbox Series S or an X or a PlayStation 5 this holiday and hasn't played a basketball game in a long time. It's going to look amazing, especially on next gen. It still looks and plays better than any basketball game you've ever had. It's the only game in town. It's the Madden curse. So, you know, there's no competition. So they feel like they don't have to do anything. They have a loyal fan base. It's like the Call of Duty and the Madden thing where you just roll out, you know, Call of Duty does a much better job innovating their stuff with different modes and whatnot, as we went over earlier. But these sport games gotten to a point where there's no competition. They own the rights to all this stuff. It's a monopoly. They can literally just roll out the same exact game and make minor changes. Like they made a change to a shot stick meter, which I don't even use. Like I use the real field goal percentages based on the player's talent. So it's like stuff that I don't even use. And then they change the story up a little bit. And it's the same fucking shit. And then you think this was the opportunity. They should have delayed the game till January, delayed the game till January, February, and said, we're delaying it because we want to bring you something new. What they should have brought us was the bubble itself.
Yeah.
All they had to do was make the bubble. The story is there.
Yeah.
My career, why do we care about a guy going through high school and college when we have this bubble? That's a whole story there.
Yeah.
There's so much there. It's controversial. Controversy sells. They would have made so much more money.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah, it's good.
It's real. And even if they only use the bubble, which I wrote in my review, just for the gameplay, and say they kept the same story because they had already worked on it for a year, that's fine. But they could have said the bubble is coming. Hype it up. The bubble's coming. We heard you. We want the real, you know what I mean? Like, I know the whole thing is they're appeasing to people who aren't me. They're appeasing to people half my age. The millennials who like the park, who are going to buy the shoes You know what I mean? Like all the little microtransactions for their team and like that whole thing.
Yeah, but you could have that in the bubble because you could make this whole open world where like you're in the Disney parks and the resorts and stuff, and then your my player can go to different baskets, and then also they can play cornhole with your teammates, and then you could go see Dwight Howard by himself at the DJ booth. I think I made that joke last time, but
Never
yeah,
failed.
that would be perfect, man. Like that's a great idea. I love that idea.
Right. But even what I wrote in my review, in case you hate reading, what I said is just the court itself brings a new dynamic. Just the bubble itself with all the virtual panels. It doesn't have to be real people. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah,
if we actually had gamers you're playing up, that people that are watching your game online are actually watching your bubble. That's a whole, all right. That's like,
yeah.
That could take a whole year to process. But even if it was just fake stuff, the bubble with like the way they're going to insert the music and the noise, you see personnel with like the mask, like it would feel so real. The commentators could update their commentary right over this microphone over a fucking voice thing and send it online. They don't have to be in the studio. They could record about their feelings about the NBA bubble and like how it's changed the game, how it's changed preparation. You know, we could make this a whole hour Sports Center's sportcast on this game, but they didn't. They just came out with NBA 2K21 and pretended none of that existed. You know, it's like almost like they're living in their own bubble, 2K. Like they're not living in the world we're living in and seeing what we're seeing. They're not acknowledging it. Like, to answer your question finally is, in my career, in the tweets, they did talk about, there was stuff about COVID, but then you go into an arena, there's no masks on anyone. It's the same generic commentary from, you know, I hate to say generic because the commentary is actually super good, but it's not.
It's the same
current.
level.
It's not current.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not updated. It's not current. And then the crowds are full of people, and it's just the same shit from before. They just stuck in a little bit of COVID stuff in the tweets in my career to be like little update, but it does nothing as far as immersion.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer.
3 Bibles. That's it.
3 Bibles. All right.
Just because I'm angry and want to give it 1, and I know people do that and stuff, but it's still an amazing basketball game. Like if me and you are here playing a game against each other, we're gonna have a shitload of fun. It's got great core gameplay. Yeah, and I did have fun playing in the college ranks. That was actually a lot of fun. And this year I was able to actually have like 25, 5-5 in college, and I wasn't even drafted.
What?
Like there's some broken. Yeah. Well, it said pick your team, so I picked Portland because I was like, oh, Damon Stoudemire is on the cover and he's probably in this game. It'd be fun to like talk with him, right? So I was like, and they could use a small forward, and I'm a small forward in the game. So I picked Portland, and I don't know what happened. It went to a cutscene, and maybe I missed something. Maybe I went undrafted, but then like literally a couple seconds later, they were like, you're a free agent. Pick your team.
Whoa.
And so I was 25-5, and I worked my way up to be a first-round pick from the bottom of the second round because it shows your gauge through the college. And when I got to that, I don't know what happened. Something happened that I couldn't go back. Maybe a cutscene happened, and I looked at my phone, like trying to get a message or something or whatever, and I looked, and all of a sudden I'm a free agent, and I signed with the Celtics, and of course I barely played because they got all them dogs at small forward. So it was horrible. I was back to grinding for minutes, and then of course the story proceeds like you're a star. I'm like, no, I'm the 12th dude on the bench. Like I played 8 minutes and had 2 points, and it was so hard. And you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't even want to play this, and I kind of gave up for a little bit. So sadly.
Man,
3 Bibles.
I mean, the ironic thing is that, like, with the case of Madden, is like EA is the only one that has the license to do NFL because that's how NFL works. But with NBA, I believe anyone can, and that's why EA was still able to try to do live. So it's weird because it's like 2K has a monopoly on basketball, but they don't technically do. Like, someone else could step up if they wanted to, but no one else has just risen to the occasion.
I just think the sales are so high on these games.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's in the top 5 every year it's always like Call of Duty, Madden, 2K, FIFA, and then it's the games of the year, you know, like the Cyberpunks and the Ghosts. Spider-Mans, and those are the games that I think that's routinely, along with all the Mario and Zelda games, of course, like the big IP, Animal Crossing, but
Or like a Rockstar game.
Right. Stuff like that. And first party Nintendo stuff. So it's routinely, I just don't think people want to invest millions, probably, and millions of dollars into another basketball game that they saw live. They even had like Westbrook. They had these big name Harden on the cover, and the games didn't sell at all. They couldn't even sell like 100,000 copies, while 2K selling millions. So it wasn't even worth it, and it's unfortunately it's at that point where it's not worth anyone to compete.
Maybe Ubisoft, maybe you guys make the bubble game that we were talking about.
Yeah, right.
And then you could slowly shift the tides away from 2K and make them work for it a little bit more. But if you're disappointed by that, you could still watch the NBA. And if you don't even want to do that, we still got a bunch of cool games coming up, even though we're still in like that weird period until the big launches of the next gen stuff and the new Call of Duty, blah, blah, blah. We have a bunch of Nintendo games coming out, a few Nintendo games coming out. There's like a little direct. It's first, let me be the one to say, me, you, Travis, we're going to say happy birthday to our pal Mario. It's your 35th anniversary, 35th birthday. 1 year old.
He's younger than me, that son of a bitch.
And kind of a game that a lot of people have been wanting to get remade for the console is coming with all of its buddies. Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, all coming. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. September 18th, and there's gonna be like a limited launch window, which is interesting. I want to see what that's about.
Runs for I think 6 months, so March.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
so that's plenty of time.
Yeah, because after March they're gonna sell these all separately, probably.
Yeah, that's true, and maybe get us a Galaxy 2. That's the big thing. A lot of people, including myself, were kind of bummed out about was, why is Galaxy 2 not there? It's the one I didn't play because I was already off the Wii by then. It's cool to see Sunshine. I didn't give a chance to. A lot of people say it's the worst one, but I want to see for myself. Maybe they fixed a lot of those bugs. And 64. Moody, you were saying people were kind of hating on it. What was kind of the consensus?
Some people are thrilled.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I have it in my cart with Best Buy. All right, so supposedly Super Mario 3D All-Stars is selling out. It's sold out at Amazon. It's sold out at Walmart. I think it's sold out other places. It's crazy, that video. It's like I feel like I'm on a toy kind of mood show talking about all the G.I. Joe and Star Wars figures that I just can't get my hands on. But
that's so funny.
Yeah, so I have this in my cart, but I haven't pulled the trigger because there's an exclusive Halo Funko from Best Buy, and that's video game related. So there you go. And it's a Hydro, not Hydra, like Hail Hydra. Hydro camo exclusive Master Chief, and it goes for about $12. But if you don't spend over a certain amount, you're gonna have to pay like $6 shipping. I don't want to pay $20 for a pop doll. Yeah. So I keep refreshing the screen. It has not gone on sale yet. It's not sold out, but there's no pre-orders. There's 20 comments under the damn thing. When is this going on sale? There's no date. And if I want to buy Mario 3D All-Stars, which is just $60 everywhere, I might as well get the pop doll with it.
Yeah.
So I get the free shipping. So I am going to wait for this damn pop doll before I get this game. It may be December until I play this Mario. There's plenty of other games I'm playing right now, but I am very, very excited because I've only played Mario 64. I haven't played the others.
Me too. And I did play Galaxy, but I don't think I played enough Galaxy. Like I think I beat it, but didn't do a lot of the side stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I beat Mario 64. I want to say I played it a lot as a kid, but I don't think I beat it. Oh, really?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Cool. I don't think I beat it, and I want to check out Sunshine. So yeah, that's a good deal. I actually didn't put this in the notes, but I kind of just remember there's rumors going around that the Switch is going to get a 4K release. A lot of people were saying on the dev side that Nintendo has been telling them, to start preparing a lot of their third-party games in 4K. So that's pretty interesting. Something I forgot to. I'm just throwing out there off the top of my head into the notes.
Well, we've come full circle with the podcast because now I'm thinking like, all right, if I'm holding off on an Xbox Series X,
oh shit,
would I get a 4K Nintendo Switch? Man, and I just got some really expensive Joy-Cons last year. Or early, I think it was last year. So, God, I don't know, man. These systems, I'm happy with my PlayStation 4, my Xbox Series X, and my Switch, but they're making me unhappy with all these upgrades.
Yeah, that's how they do. Speaking of unhappy, well, that's not fair. I think a lot of people were excited about this, but I know a lot of people didn't love the first game. But Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamities coming back. This is the sequel to that first Hyrule Warriors it's a Musou game. It's one of those Dynasty Warriors games. Hack and slash. It's ridiculous. There's like 50,000 enemies on the screen at one time, but it did break a lot of like Twitter ground, social media ground. People were excited because it's Zelda, I guess. That's coming out on November 20th. These games are like, they were fun back in the day when they were so novel, like the first couple Dynasty Warriors. But I feel like the only one that I really care about that I want to come over here is the Persona 5 Scramble one, because they're trying to do way more stuff with Atlas to do it. So I don't know. Is there anything about this game that's making you interested in like another Moose?
No, I haven't even finished Breath of the Wild yet. I got so frustrated with that. What makes you think I want this? No, probably not. I even
have you ever played any of the Dynasty Warriors? Those like new Moose?
Yeah, I have. What's the one I like is the Kamen Rider game I got from Japan earlier this year, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I kind of already have my fix of games if I'm in that kind of mood. And I also have, I think it's Okani Warriors. It's a game that is Dynasty Warriors with the Okani. It mixes the two franchises.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Actually, they had given me a review code for that, but I'm gonna say earlier this year, but it just got lost in that shuffle with all those major like Personas and all that. It kind of, I did get that on the Switch. So if I feel like playing a Musou, I got handheld one on the train when that happens again, if it ever happens again. And then I got for PlayStation 4, I got the Kamen Rider. So yeah, I don't see any need for this. I'm not, I love Zelda growing up, but as I've been older, it's so hard to be fully invested. Breath of the Wild, I love the aesthetic of it, but it got really frustrating, with the hard to get the arrows and broken swords, and I still haven't gone back to it. When I do play it, I'm enjoying myself, but it's hard for me to get in. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something missing with Zelda with me. I'm not Dana. That's for sure. It's not a lifestyle for me.
That's sad to hear, because I loved Breath of the Wild a lot. I kind of got invested in it. It kind of came at a special time though, when I wasn't really playing anything else, and I just got a Switch, and for some reason like nothing was happening maybe, but I don't know. But I totally got into that one. But these Musou games aren't really, I mean, they're fun, but they're kind of like beat 'em ups. They feel like expensive beat 'em ups to me, really. Like if I could just pay like 25 cents to play the game online for like 20 minutes, I'd rather do that than pay $60 or whatever to play a full one, unless it was Persona Scramble. But I mean, that's cool, I guess. Yeah,
it would be a great Game Pass game, but there's no Game Pass on the Switch.
Yep, so. That's true. That is true.
Dude, to answer your question, because I kind of went on a little. This has been a very ranty episode, but I went on a rant on the Mario 3D All Stars. But from what I'm hearing is Mario 64 is almost untouched.
Oh,
it's basically like a 1-to-1 with a little bit of visual polish. And the other games they did. If you notice, they're widescreen, and Mario 64 is letterbox. So there's that. People are they're disappointed that they didn't go and really remake. They kind of remake.
Yeah, they literally wanted a remake of the game, like a whole full-on remake.
Yeah. I think they just did a quick polish in their remastering. They didn't really remaster a lot of the problems. or any of the
Okay.
stuff that the controlling. I know what's the game Galaxy. You have to have the sticks, right? You have to have
Right,
the
yeah,
Joy-Cons.
there's a wiggle thing. I don't think you yeah, I mean you could probably work around it, but there was some stuff where you had to wiggle your Wii remote and like spin around and like launch and stuff.
Right, because how's that going to work if you have a Switch Lite? Like if you don't
Yeah.
have Joy-Cons with that, so that's going to be weird unless you're like with your, I don't know.
I'm guessing they probably redesigned it to not because I mean, after a while, even those Wii games, you could play with a GameCube controller. Because I remember playing Twilight Princess with the GameCube controller too. So there's
Got it.
probably some redesign around for that. That's interesting. I don't know, but that should fill your need if you haven't played those Mario games until the next big game in October, and the next time we'll probably see all of you guys again. This has been we've had a lot of stuff to talk about for like a quote unquote slow news day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's still video games being played. We're still playing stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's not the most exciting of news, but it's always fun to talk to you, Moody.
Same here. It was just hanging out on a dude. It's just fun.
Yeah. As always, people can find us godhatesgeeks.com. You can join the Geekdom Gamescast Facebook group. We would love to have you.
What a fun community.
It's a fun community.
What a fun community. Even during the console wars, we've had a few people leave. Xbox fans, a couple. But I think overall people are pretty
Yeah.
They're nice about it. We're not too.
We had some weirdos and we had to kick them out, but that's not here nor there. For the most part, we're all just love video games and stuff. So join us there.
Fun.
You could see Moody's review for NBA 2K21 on godhatesgeeks.com as well as all the other big reviews and coverage. Check out that Ghost of Tsushima spoiler cast whenever you finish it. If you're taking your time with that one, we would understand because we also like the game. But come back to it. It's a good one. We had a really good time. And if you're listening to this, if you're watching to this on YouTube, you could check out our older episodes on the Geekdom Gamescast, on the Geekdom Fancast. I'm going to start releasing our spoiler specials as a podcast too. So check that out if you haven't played. I know some people are waiting for games like The Last of Us. Did we do a spoiler? We did a spoiler special for Final Fantasy. I'll be releasing that too. So a lot of stuff a lot of places where you can find us. So yeah, thanks, Smoothie. Good time.
Oh yeah, we've already recorded more episodes this year than last year because we're at 25 and we started,
Yeah, we only got to like 4 or 5 last year, so that's cool. All right, well, we'll see you next time in this crazy world and console launch year.
See you soon. Bye.